everyone, and welcome back to Jess Loves to Cook. I'm Jess, and today I'm going to be cooking a ground turkey low carb lasagna. Alright guys, let's get started. First I'm going to start with turning on the heat to a medium setting, which for me is a number 5, and I already have a pan set on my stove. Now it's time to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over your pan. While your pan is warming up, you're going to want to go ahead and chop up some onion. I have about 1/4 of an onion right here. Now that our oil is nice and hot, you're going to want to add your ground turkey into your pan, and see that sizzle that's going on? That's what you want to see when you add any type of meat to any cooking oil. Also, for the record, I just want to let you know that my meat is actually frozen. I'm not one that always plans on taking my meat ahead of time, so most of the time you'll see me cooking, my meat is usually frozen. Now it's time to add our onion into our sauté pan. Here I'm going to be adding 1½ tablespoons of minced garlic to the sauté pan. So now my meat has been sitting in this oil for some time, so I'm going to start stirring everything together and crumbling up the meat now that I can easily move it around. See, you can still see that it's a little hard, and that's okay, because all you have to do is flip it if you can, and then just start separating the parts that are not frozen anymore. Now that I've separated all the meat that was able to crumble off of my frozen little block, I'm going to put the lid back on and let the heat do the rest of the work for me. So I let my meat sit for a little bit, and I'm going to try to remove and scrape a little bit more off of my frozen little block. Okay, so finally my meat is defrosted, as it seems right there. So I'm just going to cut it up a little bit more and make sure it gets tossed in with all the onion and garlic and get all those delicious flavors. Now let's add some black pepper. And you know I love flavor, so a little bit more. Now I'm going to add some Italian spaghetti blend seasoning. And some sea salt. If you don't have sea salt, you can use Himalayan salt or whatever type of salt you have. And sprinkle generously. Now let's add some oregano. Now it's time to stir everything together. Make sure you stir everything really well so that your meat can pick up all those delicious flavors of the seasonings we just put in there. Now for another stir before we add our marinara sauce. For this recipe, I'm going to be using the Classico tomato and basil. It's a 32-ounce can, and I have this handy dandy little jar opener that helps me open my jars when my husband isn't home. Pour the entire jar into your saucepan and then cover while we do the next step. Get about 1/4 cup of water and add that into your jar. Close it up, shake it all together, and then add that into your pan. Now we're going to want everything to simmer, so we're going to lower our heat from medium to a little bit above low. Now let's give it a nice good stir and cover it back up. After about 10 minutes, come back and stir your meat sauce again. The reason why you want to stir your meat consistently and frequently is because you don't want your meat sauce to burn or stick to the bottom. I'm going to be using non-fat plain Greek yogurt for our filling instead of ricotta, and I'm going to be using 1 cup of the plain Greek yogurt. Now for some low-fat cottage cheese. I'm also going to use 1 cup of the cottage cheese. I'm going to be using low moisture part skim mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to do 2 measuring cups of the mozzarella cheese and place that into your mixing bowl. Now use a fork or a spoon and stir everything together really well. Mix it really, really well. So like I've said before, I love a lot of flavors. So I'm going to add some pepper and some sea salt to our mozzarella, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese mixture. And then mix everything really well together. Don't forget to stir your meat. Give it a nice good stir, and then turn off your stove. If you look at our meat sauce, you'll see that our sauce actually got condensed a little bit and it thickened. Doesn't that look delicious? Now hit the baking option on your oven and set your temperature at 375 and let your oven preheat. I'm going to be using this round baking sheet. If you don't have this one, you can use the 9x13, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to start by putting some meat sauce at the bottom of our baking pan, and then I'm going to be using oven-ready lasagna noodles. You can break them accordingly so that they fit your pan, and then when you lay it down, make sure you cover it completely with some meat sauce, and then add some of our cheese mixture, and then you can put your noodles either sideways, diagonally, whatever makes you happy. And then make sure you cover them completely again and add some more of your cheese mixture on top, and continue to repeat until you have no more. So this is my third and final layer, and as you can see, I just took some of the broken lasagna noodles, I laid them out as much as I could, and then make sure they're completely covered with the marinara meat sauce, because if they're not completely covered with meat sauce, they will come out hard. Trust me, I've done that before. So add all your meat sauce on top, and then finally add your cheese mixture on top. I personally did not add any more mozzarella cheese on top, but you can if you want, and you want the final layer to be a little bit more cheesy. Now it's time to cover it. I have a glass lid. If you don't have one, just use foil and cover it completely. And the foil will work perfectly fine. Now it's time to place our lasagna into the oven. Make sure that your temperature is at 375 before you place your lasagna into the oven. Echo. Set 50-minute timer for my lasagna.
Lasagna time. 50 minutes. Starting now. Your lasagna timer is done.
Okay, now it's time to take out our lasagna. Make sure you put some oven mitts on because your lasagna casserole will be hot. So put your oven mittens on and then take out your lasagna. And don't forget, turn off your oven. Okay, let's see our final product. Doesn't that look delicious? As delicious as our lasagna may look, make sure you let your lasagna set for 10 minutes before you cut into it. Otherwise, it's going to all fall apart when you try to serve it. As you can see, I let it sit for 10 minutes, and look how perfectly that came out. Alright guys, well there you have it, a low carb ground turkey lasagna. Let's give it a taste and see what we came out with. That's delicious. The sauce is so good, so flavorful. The turkey has so much flavor.
The ricotta is not even there, and you can't even tell. The Greek yogurt and the cottage cheese is an awesome combination. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. Hope you guys like this recipe. Comment below, let me know what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Alright guys, thanks for watching Jess Loves to Cook. See you guys next week.